It's not just taxes that are worrying the citizens in the land of Lincoln, but rather the fact that thousands of these citizens have not yet received their state tax refunds. We're joined by one of those people, longtime Chicagoan and frequent guest here and friend of Fox Business, Scott Martin, who is, of course, a Fox contributor and Kingsview Asset Management Chief Investment Officer. You're still waiting on your state tax refund, Scott?
Still waiting, Liz. I did the right thing. I paid my quarterly taxes. I filed on time. In fact, even, hello, state of Illinois, a couple of weeks early, and I still have not gotten the refund. So to say that I'm Illinois would be understating it, because I've done my part. I have, been a great contributor to the tax system, let's say, in the last 18 years, and I've always gotten my refund within, say, Liz, 30, maybe 60 days at the longest, and haven't heard a lick from them on what's due to me for 2016.
Let me just clarify, because some people say of high net worth, and you're in there, I'm glad to say, certainly because you work as hard as you do, that it takes months to get their refund. Have you ever seen it take this long for you personally in all the decades that you've paid taxes? I just want to make that clear.
No, I have not. And I'll tell you what else is interesting. This goes along the lines of what we're seeing from this state. You remember, Liz, they were not paying lottery winners for quite some time here in this state up until recently. They're not doing the lottery anymore, the Mega Millions and so forth, because they don't want to have to pay some of these people as far as, they're winning. So the reality is the state is already taking a lot of these measures very seriously with respect to how they're not paying people. So this, to me, is just another one on the list as far as how they're falling short.
The House, the Illinois House of Representatives, did not give a clear view today. In fact, they're pushing it till tomorrow when they'll decide whether to override the governor's veto. So what do you think happens here?
They override them. Bruce Rauner, Liz, went down to Springfield, Illinois, which is where the State House is, some years ago, with this idea of bringing a businessman's perspective to a state that has been run into the ground by largely the left, but also, I think, some mismanagement on the right side as well, as far as the Republicans go.
But, Scott, you don't want the state to default. You don't want the state not default, but to have the credit rating gone to junk, right?
Status.
So is higher taxes the answer? I know the answer to that, but what is the answer if not raising taxes?
Well, the answer is, truthfully, is what I think Bruce Rauner was trying to do when he got down to Springfield, Illinois, which was have a little bit of this with a little bit of that, which means that, okay, fine, maybe we need a tax hike somewhere along the line, but you have to pair that with lower regulatory restrictions, with respect to companies. You have to give companies incentives to move here, and you frankly have to tackle a big thing in pension reform, which you've seen from this proposal does not do, especially workman's comp. So a lot of things that are out there are not being addressed that I think should accompany something like the tax thing we're seeing right now.
Before we go, once you get your refund, what are you going to do?
Packing up my bags and leaving and hoping you're going to come help me load my U-Haul. I say that as a joke, but
seriously?
What's going to happen is, well, would you really come do that with me? That's the question. If you could help me pack, I would do that. I'll tell you what, though. Liz, the scary thing is there unfortunately are folks here that are not mobile, that can't move because of their job and so forth. Yeah. But for the folks that can, I was at a 4th of July party yesterday. There are people that are already talking about, given the run rate of what we're seeing out of the state legislature and so forth, already looking at maybe making some plans to move away in the next few years if things get worse.
I'm surprised that you already haven't moved, because it is just horrifying, especially with the political discourse. Thank you so much. Good
if you've got room at your place, I could be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a couch, sure. It's not pull out, but you can crash there.
That sounds good.
Scott Martin, Kingsview Asset Management Chief Investment Officer. Let us know when you get the check, Scott. All right.